Hey everyone, this is Substitute Topher, today filling in for TheTopher, here with Ford Motor Company on a drive of the 2021 Ford Bronco First Edition Sasquatch. I think I got all that right. So this is sort of the top of the line Bronco. This has absolutely everything minus the hard top for a couple of different reasons, but this particular one is finished in rapid red. It has a 2.7 liter V6 Ecoboost, 10-speed automatic transmission. Got these massive Goodyear Wrangler tires, which don't actually say Wrangler on them, but that's another story. But anyways, we're gonna go for a drive around here today, give some impressions on this first edition Bronco, and have a good time. So this particular Bronco has the 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6 carried over from the current F-150. Also carried over is this 10-speed automatic. This car has 330 horsepower, which is about adequate. It's actually pretty quick, but the 2.3 liter four-cylinder Bronco has 300 horsepower, so there's only a 30 horsepower gain if you go for this 2.7. I think in the long run it would be worth it though. I think just that little bit of extra power is exactly what you need. It makes everything feel proper, brings it all together. The interior, specifically with the soft top, is pretty loud and echoey. You get a lot of noise. There's a lot of sort of vibrations in here, but you got to remember that this car is made to compete with the Jeep Wrangler. It's sort of in that class of rugged off-roader, and it's not going to be quiet and refined. This car is meant to go off-road and look awesome doing it, and everything else is just sort of next in line. Otherwise, in the interior, it's a nice place to be. The seats are very comfortable. All of this layout is nice. We've got the big screen here from the F-150. Wireless Apple CarPlay, though I do have my phone plugged in right now, running Waze, so make sure I don't lose my group here. The steering is, it's about what you'd expect for something like this. The tires make a lot of noise. I'm sure you can hear them right now. They're absolutely howling away. This being the Sasquatch package, we get those massive Goodyear Wrangler tires and just a more aggressive look all around. Being that this also is the first edition, we have lots of cool little blue accents everywhere, and we also have the first edition badges on the fenders as well. Just gives it a nice little touch, but it is quite a bit more expensive. The two-door first edition Bronco starts at around $56,000, and this four-door is $61,000 base. So if you were lucky enough to be one of the 7,000 people that got a first edition car like this, you'd be paying a pretty penny to receive it. And I'm sure that, even though the sticker is at $61,000, Ford dealers are going to be marking these things up like crazy. Pretty proper sounding V6 there. It's interesting because even though it's the same 2.7 that you get in the F-150, it doesn't make the same noise. It's kind of a unique noise to the Bronco, and I think that's kind of cool. Being limited by traction control that entire way. Oh man. Got a blinking traction light still, all the way up to 50. I don't know why that is, because I don't think this thing really has what it takes to spin those massive Goodyear Wranglers up to 55, but maybe it does, who knows. Up here we've got all the controls for our four-wheel drive system for when you're doing off-roady things and such. We also have a traction control off button and the hazard switch, which is really far away. I'm having to extend my arm all the way out to hit the hazard switch, so yep, there's that too. So that's a little bit far away, but it's something that you'd probably get used to with the car. With the infotainment here, we do have a split screen display. So as I mentioned earlier, wireless CarPlay, and then you can set your screen over here to be whatever you'd like. I've got it set on fuel economy right now, simply because I like that it shows the front of the Bronco. You can also do off-road status. You can have your audio, such as what song is playing, trips, and whatever else. Try not to swerve off the road here while I demonstrate all these things. There's a lot of road noise from these big Goodyears, wow. Kickdown's nice and smooth there on that 10 speed. I think that they've tuned the 10-speed slightly differently for the Bronco than the F-150, because this car drives much smoother than the new F-150 does. With the F-150, you get some sort of clunky misshifts, sort of transmission X confused, but this has been fine so far. No real errors there in the shifting programming. I'm thinking that it's sort of a combination of the Sasquatch pack and the soft top that's making it so loud in here. But it's all just part of the Bronco experience, you know? Who cares? Take the roof off, take the doors off, then it's all wind noise anyways, and it doesn't matter how quiet this thing rides. Here we come up to a roundabout. Try and brace myself for this. Oh yeah. Okay. Traction kicked in there. 25 miles per hour. It's a cool noise from this thing. It's a really cool, it's almost V8-ish. Obviously it's not a V8, but I don't know if that's piped in or if that's just the natural sound from this thing, but it's kind of awesome. It has such a presence, this car, on the road. You just feel like you're above everyone and you can just sort of run them over and eat them for lunch. It's going to be sort of the ego of all of the Bronco drivers, so we're going to have to start watching out once more of these start making their way onto public roads. The cluster is a little bit interesting, and considering that this is the top of the line Bronco, I can only assume that this is the top of the line cluster. You do have an analog gauge over here on the left with a Bronco headlight in the middle, which is pretty cool. And then you have a little bit bigger digital display here in the middle with your speed as well as your RPMs. And then your fuel gauge is in between that. Everything is placed in sort of an interesting manner here. I'm going to go ahead and try out the manual mode and see what that does. We do just have a little button here on the shifter that allows you to change gears. Just put it down into first gear. I don't know how much it's going to like that. Okay, so a little bit of a slow reaction there from the button, but it's about what you'd expect for something like this. It reacts about the same way that the F-150 does. This thing is pretty quick. I mean, you really feel that extra 30 horsepower from the 2.3, which is actually driving right in front of us right now. That is a Black Diamond two-door, 2.3 liter. I actually just got out of that and into this, and it is a world of a difference. Being that car's a hardtop, this is a soft top, that's a two-door, this is a four-door, that's a four-cylinder, this is a six-cylinder, feels like a completely different vehicle. You sit up just as high because that one has the Sasquatch as well, but if I was going to go for one of these, I would have to go for the 2.7 Ecoboost. Ooh, off-road test. Oh yeah, handled it like a champ. Feel bad for whoever's up there in a GT500 right now. That probably did not feel very good. There are some questionable build quality things in here, like what is this? This is like raw fiberglass or something up there. I'm not too sure if that's supposed to be like that. All of this feels pretty solid, no real creaks or rattles there. The steering wheel itself feels great. Here we go. Traction light again. I don't want traction control. Ooh. I think I confused it there. Oh man. And you know what's surprising to me is that it's not super floaty and wandery. A lot of times with big lifted vehicles, you know, they sort of float around and they're all over the road. But this feels pretty planted. It doesn't feel like I'm going to lose control at any given moment. Everything feels fine. Nothing to see here. Got little handles right here as well. I don't know why the driver needs a handle, but it's there if you need it. Passenger's got a sort of Porsche Cayenne-esque handle there on their left side. Man, all of this blue you really see when the sun comes in. You see this like metallic blue on the dashboard, which is unique here to this first edition car. That is super cool. You hear those turbos pumping too. It's sort of like a hollow boosty noise. And I must say, joy of joys, the climate control is controlled with buttons, as well as the heated seat and heated steering wheel. This sort of panel here is carried over from the F-150, which is nice. I love this toggle switch for the vent. It's very satisfying to use. We've also got dual climate control, automatic, you know, whatever, everything that you would need. But it's so great that they haven't put that into the screen. I hate when manufacturers put all of your controls into the screen, and I'm scarred from this because my girlfriend drives a 2020 Jeep Compass, and her heated seat controls and all of the climate controls are in the infotainment. And one time we were on a very long road trip, and we had our heated seats on, and when we became hot, the infotainment froze, and we were not able to turn our heated seats off, so we cooked to death for the rest of the drive, in fact, until we pulled off and shut the car off, turned it back on. But anyways, sorry for telling you my life story there. It's nice when manufacturers think of things like this and don't put the climate in the infotainment, because people still like buttons. I still like to be able to press all my buttons here, control things manually, have nice satisfying toggle switches. It isn't always the way of the future to digitalize everything and make everything touch, but I think they've hit it right on the head with this Bronco. Everything feels right. I'm not disappointed so far, though it is very loud in here. It's so loud in here, but it just adds to the experience. Being that you can remove the doors off of the Bronco, our window switches are all in the middle here, as well as our mirror adjustment. It's kind of like a rubbery button over here to the right. And then we also have our manual four-wheel drive lock switch here, 4 high, 4 low, 4 auto, which means it'll switch back and forth from, you know, whatever it needs to do. Right now I've just got it in 2-wheel drive. Seems to be driving fine. We're not doing any off-roading today, so there's no reason to switch this thing into 4-wheel drive. In fact, the TheTopher, not myself, but the actual TheTopher filmed an off-roading video on this Ford Bronco. So if you want to go watch that, make sure to check that out. This is, of course, the on-road portion. But a big part of the Bronco is, of course, being able to go off-road. So if you want to check that out, absolutely go and do so. Yeah. It's a very satisfying long power band. You don't feel like you're revving this thing out beyond its capacity, and it feels right. I know I've said that a bunch of times, but this thing is really cool. I think a lot of people that have ordered these cars are going to be very pleased with them, and they're going to live up to their expectations of being a Bronco. And this is like back to the Bronco's roots. This car looks quite a lot like the first gen Bronco, and I think that they were kind of going for that sort of outdoorsy, adventure-y style, and just the sort of modern way of American adventure, and this car is that. I was also just thinking to myself, well, why do they have any buttons on the door if they come off? And because the lock and the unlock buttons on the door, so how would you then lock the doors? But then I've come to the realization that there wouldn't be any doors to lock if you had the doors off, so it makes sense that they've kept those buttons over there and then moved everything else here to the middle, where you can take the doors off, hang your left leg out, and I wonder, I was just going to say you could Jeep wave to people, but you can't because it's a Bronco. So I'm wondering if maybe someone will invent a Bronco wave. I wonder if that'll be a thing. We know the Jeep wave, this sort of thing here, but maybe someone should make a Bronco wave. Yeah. So good. I want a Bronco in my life. I honestly think that my only real complaints with this Bronco are really just build quality related. You know, we've got our odd sort of squeak and rattle when we're going over bumps, which I really don't like in any car, even if it is sort of loud and noisy in here anyways with the soft top and these big tires. But I don't think a new car should really squeak and rattle, so that's sort of one thing that I'm not huge on. Also, this weird sort of panel up here that doesn't look like anything is a little bit odd, but you know, you've got to have your odd little quirks here and there with a car of this nature, so it's nothing to be unexpected. All right, here we come up to a proper corner, or is it? It's not a proper corner. I've been catfished. Oh, and I've missed. Oh, well, we turned right here, so. Woo! Close call there from that Ford Focus. starting to think I may be the reason this is only getting 14 mpg, but we'll just gloss over that. I'm sure if you drove this car normal, it would get somewhere in the 20-ish range. Maybe even a bit better, because the F-150 with the 2.7 gets around, 18, 19, 20. So this Bronco may do even better. May just be a waiting game trying to actually get your hands on one of these Broncos, but let me tell you, it will be worth it. This is such a cool car. It's got such a cool road presence. And everyone will want to be your friend. Everyone will want to go for rides in the Bronco with the roof down and the doors off. It's just really cool, and you'll be different from all of the people that have Jeep Wranglers. It's your own sort of lifestyle that you can live with this car. And I think for that, Bronco gets substitute TOPher seal of approval. Good car, good Bronco. We are coming up to the end of our drive on this 2021 Bronco First Edition 4-door, 2.7 liter EcoBoost 10-speed Sasquatch pack. So long as it's almost like as long as a Lamborghini name on this car, but that is it. Pretty sure by now you've gathered my views on this car. This Bronco is so cool. If you have the means, go out and get one. If you're looking for an off-roader, this thing is just so cool. All right, everyone. We'll do one more little walk around to this thing, but thank you so much for watching. This has been Substitute TOPher filling in for TheTopher. We'll be back to your normal scheduled TOPher content soon. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. All right, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you.